10 laps to go. 1 lap from now, go time.
I think what you see is what you're going to get until we get down to about 3 to go, when somebody thinks they can push for 3 laps.
When you look at our top 7 drivers right now that's lined up, look at the driver at the back of that pack right there, Denny Hamlin. And at 11, he was a lap down. He was involved in that crash on lap 8, got the free pass, and there he is back with the lead group.
Hamlin, the only driver to ever win the Bud Shootout as a rookie.
It's kind of Darian Grubb-like, isn't it? I mean, you think about Tony last year at Martinsville, and think about some races where they were out to lunch, but they fought, worked, got themselves back in the hunt.
Yeah, Darian Grubb, the championship crew chief with Tony Stewart from last year.
9 laps to go. Denny Hamlin's made up 2 laps. He's got that free pass twice to get himself back on the lead lap and into contention. Any one of those front 7 could win it. 8th place, Kyle Busch is 1.8 seconds back of the lead, and not gaining a lot of ground on the front pack as long as they remain single file.
Yeah, I think as long as nobody gets hot and you don't have to pull out and cool, and they can stay kind of in single file like they are, it's really going to come down to Jimmy Johnson saying, do I want Jeff Gordon to win this race, or do I want to pull out and try to pass him?
But I think we're about 4 or 5 laps away from where, you know what, you don't look at the water temperature gauge. You don't care how the car is driving. You don't care that you can't talk to another driver.
Well, and I remember the guy in 3rd place saying last year, you know, he said, I run over my mom to win a race. So I'd be a little worried about that, too.
Well, that 7-car breakaway, history. Kyle Busch in 1 lap has caught the lead pack, and Michael, they're all together again.
I knew they were going to come together at the end. Look at Kurt Busch. He's my guy. I think he can win this darn race. How much does he have to prove? How cool would it be for that young man to drive victory lane, just to put a little bit of trouble he had in the past way behind him?
Yeah, Michael, his owner, James Finch, said, bring me the trophy or bring me the steering wheel.
That's James Finch there, isn't it? And I love it.
Well, I like Wild Thing if he can get to the front. He caught that lead pack. Can he nibble his way closer in the 18 and have a shot to win this thing? Kristen.
Mike, it's like Michael just foreshadowed exactly what Kurt Busch was thinking just a couple of laps ago. He came on the radio and told his team, this is exactly where I want to be. He was in 5th at the time. He said, I am sitting in perfect position.
There is no question Kurt Busch is an awesome restrictor plate racer. He won this race a year ago driving for Penske. He's finished 2nd in the Daytona 500 3 times.
This is like sitting at a poker table right now, and are you bluffing? What have you got? Have you got a win in hand? I tell you, as long as they stay like they are, somebody's got to make a move, and they won't make it till 3 to go.
And that's 3 laps from now. 6 to go in the Budweiser Shootout of 2012. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, the Hendrick duo. Tony Stewart with Hendrick power, as has Kurt Busch, 4 Chevrolets in front of the Ford of Marcus Ambrose and the Toyota of Kyle Busch.
You got to go for it, man. At some point here, you got to go for it. I mean, what difference? You don't want to run 2nd in this race.
This is all about winning.
It's
we
about
said that at the top of the show.
Nobody remembers who finished 2nd.
And there's Kyle Busch in that 18 car. He was on pit road at that last caution. A lot of repair to that 18 car.
Yeah, remember him over there in turn 2, about ready to knock the wall down?
5 laps to go. Front 4 on the inside out in front of Kyle Busch, who pulls alongside older brother Kurt in the 51.
Yeah, 5 to go. Our top 15 drivers all on the lead lap within 3/4 of a second of each other.
Here we go. Things are going to pick up here.
Busch moves to the outside of Stewart's 14 with a little help from Greg Biffle.
This is exactly what you want to see right here. You got the outside, you got the push, and you're coming toward the front, inch by inch.
And Darrell, there's nothing Jeff Gordon in that 24 can do but what he's doing right there.
He's got what he's got, and I think he's got a win in hand.
Matt on the leader.
Mike, they're looking at making their move with 3 to go, meaning Jeff Gordon in the 24 and his teammate Jimmy Johnson in the 48. He's hoping for a big shove to try to go tandem.
All the guys told me we can run 3 laps tied together. That's why I think 3 laps is the key.
4 laps to go. Kyle Busch with help from Biffle. Here they come up the outside.
They got that outside going, and that is 2 fast cars right there and 2 hungry drivers.
Yeah, I mean, the hopes would be that you can get that push with another driver and get enough lead that you then can fight it out.
Did they make their move too soon?
I don't know. I think the problem is Jimmie Johnson can't give Jeff Gordon the shove he needs.
Ooh, a little jostling there.
That's going to get.
Kurt Busch comes up the inside against Stewart. Kyle Busch leads from Jeff Gordon. 3 to go.
This is it, boys. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to have to do it now.
Kurt to the outside behind Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon to the bottom. Kyle Busch trying to block.
The 24 car is going to be the guy to beat. He's the man when it gets down to these end of these races.
You see Ambrose in that 9. He's just pushing Kurt Busch in that 51 car now. Here comes McMurray in the 1, pushing Stewart in the 14.
Now look at Jeff Gordon. He's trying to figure out, should I block? Should I block? Should I stay here? Here comes his teammate. Here comes some help.
2 laps to go, and Tony Stewart comes around the outside. He had help from McMurray. No longer. McMurray drops back. Gordon with Kyle Busch, and Stewart slices down in front of all of them.
Tony Stewart, our current champion, trying to pick up where he left off. Look at Kyle Busch there sideways again in that 18 car.
Well, he's driving really defensively right now. He's trying to keep Jeff Gordon behind him, and Jeff is working him over. Look at that. Jeff's going to move him up out of the groove and get by him.
Whoa, Busch is around. Can he save it this time?
Oh, there you go.
He does. He saves it. But there's a
Jeff Gordon's upside down. Jeff Gordon's upside down.
And Kurt Busch's car is destroyed.
Oh my gosh. Jimmie Johnson's car destroyed.
Track crew quickly on the scene to aid Jeff Gordon. On the radio, he has told his team he is okay.
Yeah, I see him. I think I can see him moving.
A wild ride for Jeff Gordon as he tries to win the Bud Shootout. Just a lap and a half from the flag. Teammate Jimmie Johnson's car damaged. Several cars to the garage already. Kyle Busch to pit road. Montoya's made a stop and comes back out.
It's been like a demolition derby tonight. Holy cow.
Tony Stewart and Shootout rookie Marcus Ambrose ahead of Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, and Greg Biffle. Jeff Gordon has asked for them to roll the car over before he tries to climb out.
Michael can address that situation. Michael, you were upside down here a few years ago over on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Michael's a lot bigger than Jeff, and the cars were a lot littler, and that was a bad combination. I could not get out, and you're talking about freaking you out. Be upside down in a car, it's smoking, you see oil or fuel, something dripping around you, you want out really badly, and Jeff's doing his best to explain that to those guys, probably about like I was explaining it, with not the calmest manner.
No, but you know what, Michael? After your deal down here, they came up with a system to turn that car back over. You see them putting those straps around the car. When they turned you over, they just pretty much hooked a record to you and slung you back on your wheels.
And Jeff Gordon climbed out the side there. I think he got out. So that's what I love about these big cars, Darrell. There's more room for those guys to get in and out, and that's a lot safer.
Jeff Gordon gets a round of applause from the crowd here, and he is okay. Let's see what happened.
I think it's really Jeff trying to get the 18 car Kyle Busch up out of the way.
Pushing on that left side again.
Yeah, he's just working on him, Michael. Kyle was blocking, and Jeff was trying to get him loose and get him up out of the way, and he just got on the left side and spun him out.
Look at the job Ambrose and Boyer did coming through there. And there's our buddy old Brad Keselowski. We ain't seen him up front all night. He's fixing to restart with a chance to win this baby.
Yeah, I asked Larry, I said, is Brad Keselowski in this race?
Well,
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon's car went about 1,000 feet on the driver's door before it barrel rolled to a stop.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski in that too. He's in that backup car.
You see Jeff down there, he just gets down on his left corner, and we've seen that time and time and time again.
You got to stay off the left side. What do we do about that, though, man? How do we fix it? The drivers just have to make the decision that they've got to lay off that left side.
Look at this long slide for Gordon, and that's Kurt Busch tangled up with him and Jimmy Johnson, and that car still hasn't lost much of its momentum as it goes side over side and comes to rest
Michael
on
made
its roof.
a really good point, though, Mike. These cars are so much bigger than the cars were 5 years ago. With the safety innovations that NASCAR has built into these cars, the drivers moved over to the center of the car 6 inches further than ever before. The roll cage is bigger. That really helped Jeff Gordon in that situation.
Dick Berggren.
Jimmy Johnson is sitting in his car, and it is his opinion that the mechanic should fix this car so he can go back out. The right front is absolutely torn off the car. There's oil on it. There is a lot of work going on here, but there are so few cars left in running condition. Johnson wants to continue the race.
Well, we have completed 75 laps, Dick, but this race is not over because of NASCAR's green-white checker rule. We'll have several attempts to get it finished.
Sorry, but there's that device they've created to turn it when a car gets upside down. That buoy and all that stuff they hook to it now to turn it over gently.
Here's our Fox Super Zoom as Jeff Gordon makes contact with the left rear corner of Kyle Busch's bumper. And by the way, Busch did a great job of saving that car from major damage. But look what happens in front of him.
What truly caused that was when Jeff Gordon got into Kyle Busch. Jeff Gordon moved up the racetrack, and there was just nowhere for most of these drivers to go.
Roof flaps deployed as the car was up on its side.
And look at Kurt Busch's car shed momentum and sheet metal everywhere.
See another driver that we felt like had one of the fastest cars here tonight involved in that, Jamie McMurray in that one car.
Yes, sir.
Denny Hamlin snuck through another one. So did Montoya.
It's a rough ride right there. Wow. Thank God for the Hans device, the seats, the way you're bolted in these things today. He's able to handle something like that and walk away. Jeff was just really working hard on the back of that 18 car, trying to move him up the hill so he could get by.
And the type of bump drafting you used to be able to do at Daytona is problematic tonight for big crashes.
Feel so bad for Kurt Busch, second car of the weekend.
There are the cars involved in the wreck, and we heard Richard Childress talking about what might lead up to something like this.
Whole damn deal, as long as they let them push in the corners, they're going to wreck. It's going to cost everybody a ton of money.
He owns 4 cars entered in the Daytona 500 and said that before this latest crash.
I think I'm correct. I heard this today, and Larry, you may know for a fact, but in an ARCA race, they would not. They said no pushing. No, you can't get up on anybody in the corners.
In the corners.
In the ARCA race.
Now, those cars have a different aerodynamic package than these Sprint Cup cars, but Michael, what about it getting up against somebody in the corner, whether it's the right side, the left side, or anywhere?
Well, what you got to think about, Mike, is we used to be able to push all the way around this racetrack. NASCAR, the fans didn't like it. NASCAR didn't like it, so they changed it. Back in the day, 01, 03, along in there when we raced here at Daytona, you didn't dare push someone in the corner because of the crash. You knew you would spin someone out if you tried it. And now we're in the same situation again. The drivers are learning tonight. They're seeing that you can't push on that left side. Now, there's going to be circumstances. A great example was Truex and and Boyer in the tri-oval. Boyer moved over, Truex was left on the left, that spun him around. But with Jeff Gordon, he was hitting on that left side of Kyle Busch all the way through the turn. Eventually it spun him out. So the drivers are going to have to watch the video and say, all right, we might need to calm down a little bit here and not tear up all that equipment that Richard Childress is talking about.
Well, it took us 1.5 years to perfect the two-car tandem.
Right.
Okay, so we got that down. Now we're good to go. No, you're not. We're going to change the rules. We're going to change the package, and we're going to make it where you can't do that anymore. These guys are going through another learning process. Maybe,
an expensive one.
Maybe by next Sunday, maybe they'll have it figured out.
Only 3 cars have not had major crash damage tonight. Tony Stewart, Brad Keselowski, Greg Biffle.
But what makes this interesting is we now have a green-white checkered. We'll throw the green, we'll throw the white, we'll throw the checkered. With that restrictor plate, like you saw with Jeff Hammond at the Fox Cutaway car, it takes a good half to 3/4 of a lap to even remotely get up to speed. And remember, double file restart, so it's truly going to be interesting when they wave this green flag on this restart.
Are you saying the wrecking may not be over?
It may not be over. We do get 3 attempts at green-white checkered.
Let's take another couple of looks here from ground level. And Jeff Gordon, after sliding 800 feet on the driver's door, up and over and dissipating energy. And here's what Kurt Busch had to say after the smoke settled down.
Really appreciate you guys working as hard as you did to give me the fun to come out here and race. I hope it was fun for you guys. I thought we could have got clear of that. Dan Gordon just wrecked the 18. That's what's happening is the rear spoilers are so small you can choose to wreck somebody.
Lots of Kurt Busch. Jeff?
Down here with Kurt Busch, and Kurt, first off, you okay? But you were so complimentary to your crew. You got out, you hugged these guys, but you got a tore-up race car here.
We had a blast tonight, and you could feel the energy, the excitement, and the butterflies with 10 to go because we were in position. I mean, with 2 to go, we were right in the mix with the big dogs, and we're just a little team. I'm going to stop saying that. We worked really hard to get this car. This was the backup to the backup, and we were just. You could have that butterflies in the stomach feel to know we were in position to do good things with our Tag Heuer Chevrolet. I just want to thank Tag Heuer for jumping on board tonight. I had fun out there.
I mean, what got me was, again, you said it, no laps on this race car, but this team was able to not only get you up front, but you led the race, you were in that position. How much of a boost to your ego right now and your confidence right now going into the 500?
Well, we know James Finch and Phoenix Racing builds great speedway cars, and so to have this Chevrolet with Hendrick Power and Tag Heuer tonight, it was just a huge boost for this whole club. And now it's just a matter of just throwing this car away, because they said all the guys were joking, this is a 1985 Buick, go out there, bring it back on the rollback. So that's not the mentality though for the rest of the year. We need to protect our race cars and have fun, but now it's off to Hendrick.com Chevrolet tomorrow to get that car qualified in the Daytona 500.
A lot of energy down here, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Kurt Busch having a very competitive night, but ending up with 2 trashed race cars, one in practice and one in the race. And boy, it's a junkyard down there in the garage area.
But you know what, Mike? Crew members will work themselves to death to give you a good car when you put on a show like Kurt did. When they know they're getting a result for their hard work, they will stand by you all the way to the bitter end.
Up to 3 attempts at a green-white checker is what we're facing here in Daytona to conclude the Budweiser Shootout. A.J. Allmendinger's car, after a long pit stop, getting back out on track with some crash damage. Jimmy Johnson okay. Looks like he has climbed from the car that he wanted fixed to get back out there and try it again. Tony Stewart and Shootout rookie Marcus Ambrose lead. Clint Boyer was a couple laps down, got a couple lucky dogs. He's back up on the lead lap. Brad Keselowski, Juan Pablo Montoya with Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, A.J. Allmendinger. Those are the cars on the lead lap. Jeff Burton is 1 down. Casey Kane is 3 down as we get set to go back to green for a green-white checker finish.
Kyle Busch is still running, and he's been in 2 really serious wrecks. I mean, could have been. Don't count him out. I mean, this could be, he could drive right up to the front.
Green flag. Stewart brings him across the line. Ambrose getting a big push from Keselowski.
Both rows are 5 drivers pushing each other. Now you don't worry about that water temperature gauge.
No, she's cooled down and good to go. The 11 car down below the yellow line there, but he didn't advance his position.
But Boyer could not stay with Tony Stewart, and that's cost Tony the lead. The Tasmanian Devil, Marcus Ambrose, 2-time champion of the Australian V8 Supercar Series and Watkins Glen winner last year. He's got a shot to win the Bud Shootout.
Yeah, he's got Brad Keselowski in that 2 car pushing him. Ryan Newman in the 39 was pushing those 2 till they got about halfway down the back straightaway.
Kyle Busch's car is dragging the track, fenders flying.
But look at the run him and Tony Stewart's got, Darrell.
Here they come.
White flag. 1 lap to go, and Busch pushes Stewart to the lead. Ambrose tucks in 3rd.
That 18 car has got to be a mess.
Now, what do you do?
But that man wheeling it, he don't care. And this is where you see your 2-car tandem right here.
Remember, he'll try to beat you when he gets over here.
You know who that was? That's Steve Addington.
Who used to be Kyle's crew chief and is now Tony's crew chief.
He will try to beat you.
1 mile to the finish line of the Budweiser Shootout. Tony Stewart or Kyle Busch, who's going to win it?
I don't know if Kyle's got it. Remember what happened the last time these 2 were coming to a start-finish line back in the July race?
Smoke versus Wild Thing to the line.
He got him! He got him!
Wild Thing wins!
He got him! I ain't believing it.
He timed it absolutely perfect.
I ain't believing it.
So that's 3 times tonight he's done the wildest piece of driving I've ever seen. That kid is such a wheelman.
And people wonder why we get so excited about when he races and when he does what he does. There's nobody that can do what he does.
By 1/100th of a second, Kyle Busch is the champion of the Budweiser Shootout.
Look at his race car. It is destroyed.
Larry, it was dragging the ground, sparks flying out from under it, and he timed that beautifully.
There it is on Fox Extreme slow motion. Kyle Busch for Joe Gibbs Racing, the winner.
That was pretty unbelievable.
Look at this last lap. Now, in the old style of tandem racing, the pusher could not be the trophy holder. Not tonight.
That was a thing of beauty. He timed that to perfection. Jumped out there, got the side draft, and went right by Tony Stewart.
Closest finish in the history of the Budweiser Shootout. And Kyle, in his 6th start in this all-star tilt, picks up the checkered flag for the first time.
Nose all caved in.
and that was a backup car that had no laps prior to the green flag being flown.
Flat out, half turned over.
That's it.
And going to victory circle.
That's just some kind of crazy right there.
5th shootout win for Joe Gibbs Racing.
I'd burn that thing down if it was me. I mean, why not?
That is the first shootout win for a Toyota. And Kyle Busch is burning down the house, and what a wild night he has had.
Watch this. Just watch this. I'm wrecked. I'm out of here. Goodbye.
I'll save it.
Slip, slide, and save.
Look at those hands in there. I mean, you got to, folks, you got to respect the man. That is amazing.
And then off the front bumper of Jeff Gordon. Busch to the apron, straightens it up, slides it around, and then grabs hold of it once again. Can you hear those cheers in the background? In one of the biggest turnarounds that we've seen here at Daytona, Kyle Busch earlier tonight was introduced to a chorus of boos. He climbs from the car, stands on the windowsill to a chorus of cheers from the crowd. How about that? Promotional consideration provided by Well, he's gaining in the fan department, and after that display of driving tonight, I'm not the least bit surprised. Let's go to victory lane.
Winning your first Budweiser shootout, you want it to be memorable. Could that race be any more crazy for you?
Oh, man. I don't know how many times I spun out, but I didn't spin out, you know. Amazing race. I can't say enough about all these guys. This M&M's Camry was fast, and it's fun to drive when I wasn't getting turned around, but, you know, it's a tough race, but a fun race. Glad to see the pack back like that and making it interesting for us drivers. Hopefully it was great for the fans as much as it was for us drivers. And, again, first race back in the M&M's car. We're in victory lane, so that's pretty cool. Can't say enough about Interstate Batteries, Toyota, the Sprint Cup Series, thanks Sprint, and Monster Energy, thanks for giving me my boost.
Work me through the approach and the move on Stewart for the win.
Well, somebody was in front of me. The 39 and the somebody, and they got hooked up and went, and I'm like, okay, well, I was trying to stay with the 39, but I pulled low and got in behind Stewart and just wing mowed right up through there. He had a fast car and took us by those guys around the outside, and I'm like, it's a two-guy race right now, and it's going to be either me or him coming to the start-finish line out of turn 4. And I've seen the move done before. It was my turn to do it this time. Stewart had me the last time here in July a couple of years ago, so glad it was the M&M's car and putting it here in victory lane. Can't say enough about electric sunglasses, all the folks there. So everybody on this car, Double Mint, Snickers, all the fine folks at M&M's.
He scores a win in February. Let's go to Chris Devoda standing by with the guy he just beat.
Yeah, Matt, Tony came on the radio and said, guys, I just don't know what I could have done. Well, now you have a week to formulate a plan. Can you figure it out?
Yeah, it can be done. It's just I got part of it. I just didn't get all of what I needed to do there at the end. But still, considering where this car was yesterday, I'm really proud of Steve Addington and Tony Gibson, Greg Zippadelli. All three teams at Stewart-Haas Racing just did an awesome job to get this Mobile One Office Depot Chevy back together. So, and they even let me work on it with them, which is it's kind of scary, the thought of it, but it was cool to be there with those guys, and it kind of sucked to screw it up yesterday, but really proud of how good a job they did to give us a car that was that good at the end.
It's a good run, champ. Thanks.
Thanks, Krista. Kyle Busch pulls the old Daytona slingshot off turn number 4 and goes to victory lane.
Well, I said you have to respect Kyle Busch, and I mean that in the right kind of way. Respect is earned. In my book, he earned a little bit tonight.
We had the pleasure of sitting with Kyle Busch yesterday, and it was apparent to us after being parked at Texas for Wrecking Ron Hornaday that got his attention, but the desire to win is still there.
A lot of big crashes tonight, and one truly scary moment as Jeff Gordon slid 1,000 feet on the driver's door, and then the rest of that car's energy dissipated in a series of barrel rolls before landing on its roof. Dick Berggren with Jeff Gordon.
Okay, Jeff Gordon has emerged from the medical center with a smile on. What a wild ride. What precipitated all that?
Well, you know, it's just getting down to the end of the race, time to go. And me and Jimmy were looking good there. You know, we knew those guys were coming. And once Kyle got in front of me, I was just trying to, keep Jimmy on me and try to stay with Kyle. Every time I got to Kyle's bumper, he just started getting so sideways like he was a lot tonight. And I thought he was going to wreck. I saw him start to spin, so I went to go wide, not knowing that somebody had got to my outside. That turned me into those guys in the wall, and along for a ride we went. And then Kyle ends up winning the race. So pretty wild and crazy way to get it all started. Certainly an exciting finish for the race, so I'm excited about that, but not the way our Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet wants to get the 2012 season started.
So many crashes tonight, even more than would be expected for the Budweiser shootout. What is going on?
Well, the difference now is, we're still bump drafting. We just can't do it, for long periods of time. So now we're doing it in packs. And so, you know, you get on the straightaway, you push a little bit, and once the tires get a little bit heat in them, and you know, the cars just start, and we have less downforce, so the cars are moving around a lot. So you got to be real careful with how you push and when you push, and you know, it's definitely going to take some patience. But I was having a blast out there. Our car was awesome. You know, we had a car that could win this race, and so that's got me excited about tomorrow and for next week.
First time ever upside down in a stock car. Hope to see you not do that ever again.
Thanks, Dick. The box score will show these 10 cars finished on the lead lap. Fine runs for Shootout rookies Marcus Ambrose and Brad Keselowski. Denny Hamlin came from laps down to finish in the top 5. Montoya inked the top 10 lead lap cars. Burton, Allmendinger, Kane also running at the finish. Down to John Roberts and Michael Waltrip.
Mike, thanks a lot. Right now, about all you can say is wow after that finish. What a performance by Kyle Busch. What a finish. And, Mikey, if this is a sign of what we're in for the rest of this week, you're going to want to stay tuned.
How are you going to get a ticket? We're going to sell all the tickets for the Daytona 500. That's awesome. I was on fire. I had a ball. Jeff Gordon was upside down. What did he say? I had a ball. Racing is fun at Daytona, and it's going to be amazing for the Daytona 500.
You can say what you want about Kyle Busch, but he can certainly drive the wheels off a race car, and he did it literally today. Coming up next on Fox, it's your late local news. Fox Late Night at 11 o'clock. Alcatraz, 12 a.m. It's the new girl. Check your local listings now. The next matter of business here at Daytona is to set the front row for the Great American Race tomorrow. Qualifying at 1 o'clock live on Fox from the Daytona International Speedway. We will set the front row, and then everybody else will have to go back to the drawing board. You want to tune in for that because it's been a wild week so far. Congratulations once again to Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing, who have now put their 5th Budweiser Shootout victory together, the first one for driver Kyle Busch, and a wild night altogether. A lot of bent-up sheet metal, a little bit of bent-up temper, but in the end, everybody had a very good time out on the racetrack, and the fans must have loved it as well. Thanks for coming along for the ride, everybody. It was a wild Budweiser Shootout, and we are in for a heck of a week here at the Daytona International Speedway as we get ready for the Great American Race, which is also live on Fox next Sunday. Stay with us, everyone. Your late local news is coming up next. And once again, thanks for joining us for the Budweiser Shootout. For Michael Waltrip and everybody else on the Fox family, so long, everybody. I'm John Roberts.